Hey, what's going on, guys? We are live. I'm not even sure how many viewers are in here. So if anyone is in here, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate the support. If you're watching this later, I appreciate the support too. This is my first live stream, so I might be a little finicky on the buttons and stuff, bringing up the comments or stuff like that. So that's all right. It's a learning curve. I'm happy to be here. I have a guest with me today, and his name is Roman Moruz. He's from Canada, so pretty similar climate between Canada and Alaska. So we got some in common. He's a really good kid. We started chatting, and he's just like a good kid. I wanted to bring him up. Small time YouTuber like me, just trying to make some good content and interact with his viewers. So I'm going to bring him on up. He'll introduce himself, and then we'll kick this thing off. So here we go. What's up,
going on, everybody?
Hey, happy to have you. We actually were supposed to do this before. You guys know if you watch the channel regularly, I had a baby, and the baby flipped the wrong way. So we had to flip the baby back upside down, and she stayed there for the birth. So we had to cancel this the first time. And then, so now we're here again. So why don't you introduce yourself, Roman? Let people know who you are, where you're from, and kind of how you got into watches.
Well, yeah. Well, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here today. Was excited about previous time, but congratulations on a baby.
Thank you. Yeah.
My name is Roman, and I am originally from Moldova, a small country in Europe. Came here to Canada about 8 years ago, and about ever since I came here, just found myself loving watches. I had a small little metal bracelet, black dial diving watch. It wasn't a diver. It was a BS watch bought from, I don't even remember where. I think I brought it from Moldova, but it was so bad.
Yeah.
Now that I think of it, back then
Right.
it was a Rolex for me.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's slowly I got, here in Canada with the opportunities to meet a lot of, people with money and people that, know nicer things and quality things and all that. I've seen some crazy watches, and yeah, just that just gotten closer to me. And about 2020, I think, oh yeah, when the COVID hit is
Yeah.
when I said that I think I should make a YouTube channel. I think
Yeah.
it's a time when YouTube was booming also because of everyone was home, and there's so many. YouTube was booming all the time, but people are just home and people had to watch something, and there was so many new creators coming out of the quarantine or because of the quarantine, and I said I should do it as well, and I tried, and I was like, that's bad, like bad light, bad mic, bad audio, bad video.
Oh yeah.
I can't focus, I can't look into the camera. And I just turned down my idea. So I didn't do it. And then I let about a year pass by. And in March of 2021, I flew back to Europe for vacation, came back, and I was quarantined for 2 weeks. And I was like, but this idea never left me.
Right. Right.
It still stuck with me, and I said I have two passions, or two, three passions, whatever: cars, watches. I need to create content around one of them. And I was thinking that cars is hard because, like, where the hell am I going to find nice cars? And you can't just review average cars. I just didn't feel like I want to review it. And I started with watches, although they've been my passion forever. And I made my first video, and I said I'm gonna make the videos, Watchfinder and Co, or whatever it's called on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah.
He doesn't show his face; it's only top view. And that was actually my first video. I didn't show my face; it was just my hands, camera on top, and I
Yeah.
filmed my Invicta watch. And then the video turned. Now I watch it, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so bad. But back
Oh,
then, it's
my
like,
early videos too, man. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, you know what? I think screw this. I'm gonna show my face, whatever. And then I made the second video, which gotten over 4,000 views by today already, which
Awesome. Awesome.
4,000 people. When you watch dudes like Logan Paul or whatever, and you see like 20
Yeah.
million, and you want that and all that, but you don't even realize that 100 views is a lot of people to watch you.
It's a lot, man. If you think of it all within the same room, you know what I mean? That's a sold out, small stadium. Like imagine 4,000 people at a high school football game or something like that. It's like that is a lot of people. And I think I found your channel pretty early on. Your videos, they were good before. I like them, but I'm happy you show your face and stuff because there's a lot of talking hand videos out there. And I know for my own channel, I just try to be personable. I try to be myself. I don't put on like a facade. And you're a personable dude. So I think, keep showing your face and connect with your viewers. I think that's what us smaller channels have to do.
At this point, yeah. At this point, I just love every video. So it's great. I think, not that I think, I know that this is what I want to do, eventually for the rest of my life, because it's my passion, right? It's my passion.
Exactly.
I absolutely love it. I love interacting with people that are into the exact same thing. And I was never into, I always wanted to be into videography or photography and things like
Yeah.
that. But I would try and then it would turn out bad. And I'd be like, I don't know. I got stuck, right? So now I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to get better and better and at
Yeah.
filming, at taking photos and at editing and stuff. Because somehow when you start doing something you want to just be good, just
Yeah,
from the
exactly.
start,
It's
and that's
addicting.
just
It's
not happening.
addicting. Yeah, no, you have to put in the work, and especially me, man. I didn't go to like filmography school or anything like that, but my editing has got a lot faster. It's a lot more natural to talk in front of the camera, which is crazy because you're just like always talking in the mirror. You know what I mean? It was kind of hard at first. I misspoke a lot. Like I get stuff now, probably in 1 to 3 takes. Now, if I try to stop the camera as little as possible, but before, dude, it was like literally 40, 50 takes. I'd stop the camera after almost every sentence, every half a sentence, and have to kind of edit the footage together just because it's so easy to misspeak. And we both kind of have strong accents. You get a strong accent from where you're from. I have that strong Massachusetts accent. So it's sometimes the words don't come out as pretty as some other YouTubers. And my viewers let me know sometimes, like Longines. I always say it a little wrong. I saw a commercial. I'm like, that's how you say it, but I'm gonna say it like this. But let's get into it. One viewer asked, and I think I see about 7 people in here, so that's pretty cool. I had no idea how today was. Someone left 6, but I I knew it might be small, but that's cool if you guys catch it later. That's cool as well. And with YouTube's algorithms, you never know what's gonna happen. Some of my videos get 20, 30 views. I get videos with 50,000 views, so it's
You
all over
have
the
a video
place.
that had 50,000 views?
Yeah, I do. I have another one that I think is 20 or 30, but I have one that's at like 55. That video really keeps everything going on the channel. But I'm
That's
wearing
awesome.
my what are you wearing today, Roman? I'm wearing my G-Shock, the casioak. I actually bought this because I was talking to you when I was filming a video about a watch you might want at the end of the world. And you're like, well, it has to be one of these. I started looking at it. It wasn't even on my radar. I'm like, that's actually a lot of watch for $100. I got this thing and I've been wearing it a lot. I wear it to the gym. I hike in this watch. You don't really have to think about what you're doing, and you don't have to be scared about banging it up, for $100. And it sounds like to us, $100, that's cheap, but to a lot of people, that's still like a decent amount of money to spend on a watch, which is an object that they don't necessarily see as needed. But
Yeah.
to the watch community, it's not too much money. But man, I'm loving this thing. I know you got one too. But
I have
what watch are you wearing today?
today I am wearing the Tudor Black Bay Heritage two-tone
Awesome.
41 millimeters, I think. Yeah, it's 41 millimeters.
Yeah.
On bracelet, closed case back, obviously, as it should be, as it
Hmm.
should be. So that it is not my watch. It is a watch that somebody lent to me for a few days for review, and I am super excited about it. So Yeah, I wear it. I also got another watch that he gave to me, which is
Yeah.
about a couple times more expensive than this. But
Yeah.
I was never a two-tone guy. I
Hmm.
just love it plain stainless steel, and something about this watch I just wear and super enjoy. It's great.
I do like it, and two tone is mixed for me. I just got to say hello to Duncan Idaho. He started subscribing to my channel. I think I was at 5 or 6 viewers. It might have been off that first video I made, which we were talking a little earlier about just the quality of our first videos. It's gotten a lot better. So he stuck through. He's a good guy. I interact with him a lot. I try to interact with all my viewers as much as I can, and when the channel grows, that's something I want to keep up as well. They support
Absolutely.
us, man. Without them, like our channel would be nothing. So thank you guys so much for supporting. And when I get big, I promise, I'm still going to interact with everyone. But two tone is one
More.
of those things. I think it fits good on the Tudor because it's kind of a heritage look. I was at the AD, the Rolex AD. I stopped by there, once a month still, just to try to say hello. They actually had some stuff in the case. They usually don't they for a long time they didn't. When I was trying to get my Rolex, they had absolutely nothing in the case, but they had a lot of exhibition models last time. And I tried on a two-tone Daytona, and I wasn't crazy about it. To me, it kind of seemed dated, but not in a heritage way. It kind of seemed like it still belonged like maybe 1999, 2000, when like NSYNC was on the billboards and stuff. It's just I don't know. I mean, I can't. I wouldn't have went for that, but I really like that two tone, and I like the two tone root beer that Tudor does.
Yeah, like I said, not much for a two-tone guy.
Yeah.
I don't see they seem too flashy for me,
Hmm.
and that is not my personality. I guess I really like the simplicity of watches. And to give an example, when I think last year when Rolex has released or given us the 50th anniversary Explorer One in
Oh
two
yeah.
tone, I was mad. I made a video of it and I trashed it because the Explorer One is my favorite Rolex.
Uh huh.
I just love the simplicity of it. No date, 9, 6, and 3, a black dial. That's it. That's all
So
you got.
versatile.
Field
Yeah.
watch, and it was phenomenal. The simplicity is what just grabbed my attention. There's no rotating bezel, no nothing.
Hmm.
And then they give us a new one, and I was super excited to see it. And I saw two tone. Nobody said it better like the time teller, Jordy.
Yeah.
Jordy, he said nothing. How do you say it? Nothing screams more field watch than some precious soft gold when you're up on the mountain, right?
Oh,
So
I
he was
know.
very
I know.
sarcastic about it. He was trashing it too.
Yeah.
Um, Now, for when you're in the city, for when you're a little more elegant, going out or something like that, that is a different deal. So that's why I'm rocking this watch to kind of get more custom with it and more used to it, I guess.
Yeah. It does look good. It does look good. So what else do you have? Somebody asked to see our collections. So what else do you have in your collection?
Currently, I got this bad boy. It is a Tudor, and it's my favorite watch of all of my watches and everything I own, and that is the Tudor
I
Royale.
love that. Yeah.
It is in 38 millimeters. And the reason I went for this watch and the reason I loved it so much, it's when, oh, yeah, I actually got two of them.
Oh, nice.
So this one is a 41 millimeter. This is a date. It has
Yeah.
the presidential style of the date right on the top. And then this one is just the date. This one is 38. This one is
Yeah.
41. This is my brother's. So
Oh,
this.
awesome. Cool. So you can kind of compare them.
Yeah. So the reason I went with this watch is because uh, 2 years ago, when about a month before it got released, I was thinking my favorite watches of all time are or is Nautilus,
Hmm.
Nautilus 5711 from Patek Philippe. And I think I was just thinking that it got discontinued, and I will never be able to own it. If
Right.
it was insanely almost never able to own it until it got discontinued. Now with the prices and everything, I'll just never be able to own it. And even if I'll have the money, I just think $150,000 for a watch is
It's
ridiculous.
it's
But I
crazy
was
for a lot
thinking,
of people. Yeah.
what do I like about that watch so much? And I've realized that it was the integrated bracelet.
Hmm.
Now, there's not, when you look at watches, it's rare that you see integrated bracelet watches. There's a lot of options out there, but considering how many watches are out there, integrated bracelet are not so many.
Right.
And I started to look at integrated bracelet watches, sports steel integrated, and then this one came out, and I looked at it, and I loved the somewhat fluted bezel.
Yeah.
Not really lover of the Roman numerals, but I was like, hey, that's okay. It's not too
Yeah.
bad.
I
Black
like
dial,
the Roman numerals actually.
but
Yeah.
the bracelet and the way it connects, all of it, I just absolutely loved it. And then I looked at the price, and I was like, yeah, this I can have.
Yeah.
This I can get. So
That's a nice watch, man. And I think people forget about that watch or they sleep on it, and I'm not sure why. It may be because of the Tissot PRX kind of snuck in under it that a lot of people compare to that, but I actually think they look a lot different. I do own a PRX, but to me the PRX looks a lot more like vintage, like some out of the 80s. When
I
your
really like
watch doesn't as much look so vintage, it looks more modern, more like one of those watches like the Nautilus or the Overseas, something like that, where this is kind of more vintagey looking. And from pictures and videos, you don't always see that, but when you see the watches kind of up close, I think you get more of a sense for that.
I
But yeah,
guess.
I love that watch, man. And I think people don't talk about it maybe as much as they should.
And I think Tudor in general is a great brand. I think is definitely one of my favorite brands. If I could just stuck with one brand for the rest of my life, it would probably be Tudor would be one of them that I'd consider. And this watch for it was 2,600, 2,550, I think is what
Yeah.
retails here, Canadian dollars, which is about, I don't know, 22, 23 or something like that, US dollars.
Hmm.
Um, but it's one of the cheapest tutors that you can buy out there, brand new,
Right.
and you don't need to have a lot of money. Black Bay 58 is $4,000, so that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for me
Yeah.
also.
Almost
And
double. Yeah.
and if you love a brand and if you really want to tap into something more luxurious, I'm glad that they have this version or this product, this little watch here. I think it's gorgeous for what you pay, and you own a Tudor, a watch brand that is very interesting, especially what they've done in the last few years.
Oh, for sure.
Sure, because of their big brother and all that, I get it, but I still love them. I still love them, and for anybody that is looking into, to spend $2,000 or so on a watch, I would highly recommend this.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. And then I know, do you still own that Hydro Conquest? Because I know we own a couple of the same watches. We
I
own
do. I do.
G-Shock and we both own that Longines Hydro Conquest.
I
Oh, that's
do.
too funny. I got mine in a roll right now too. Let me get this out. This is our here Cali. I'll give them a shout out real quick. They're a Massachusetts-based company where I'm originally from. I did an unboxing when I first got this roll.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty good quality. I'll probably film my full review of this. I did like a first impressions, but I wanted to wait a week with it and kind of open it up every day, and so I could get a kind of better feel before I do the full review.
I
But
got this from
if you
Amazon.
guys buy it, it's not
I
going
know
to come
nothing.
loaded. But I
Oh,
got
there you go. There you
Rolex
go.
in
Well,
there, my Seamaster, and my Hydro Conquest, which was actually what I consider my first like luxury watch. Is that aluminum bezel, which I believe yours is the aluminum bezel as well.
yeah.
Yep, that aluminum bezel Hydro Conquest. And that's another great watch for people if they're trying to break into like a luxury watch or like their first real watch that's maybe over $1,000. That watch is sitting, when I bought it, I believe it was 1,275 and I paid 1,025 or something like that. I did buy it from like a authorized dealer.
Yeah.
But
Mine
that's a great
was
watch.
1550 Canadians for if we have any
Yeah.
Canadian viewers. I hope we do.
Oh,
I can't see how many
yeah.
we got now.
We got 9. We got 9. So there's
Okay.
9 of you guys in there. Go ahead and comment if you'd like. It keeps dropping. It's one a little higher, one a little lower, but we got 9 of you guys in there. So feel free to ask any questions and stuff. We get our like my kind of talking points I want to hit, but we're flexible. So if you guys have questions and stuff, then go ahead and let me ask some. Oh, and someone actually just dropped a super chat. She said, just want to show my support, rock on. So thank you. That's pretty cool. You
I love
guys don't have to do that, but I really do appreciate it. This first month, all the income I make this first month is it's my first month monetized because I just hit 100,000. I mean, not 100,000, man. I wish 1,000 viewers. I'm probably gonna take all the money I make this first month and pay it back and do like a little watch giveaway or something like that. So the more money I make this first month, the more expensive I must spend it all on like one watch and do like a little giveaway for you guys.
That's awesome. I actually should congratulate you in front of all the 9 viewers for that because you've
Yeah.
got monetized, right? And that's
Yeah.
phenomenal. That's one of the reasons why we're all here.
Yeah.
We're here for the passion and all that, but it's great when the money comes along with it and stuff like that. And people don't know how I wouldn't say hard it is to get monetized, but how consistent you have to be and how long of a time it takes. Some people
Yeah.
ask me how long I am on YouTube for, or I post on YouTube for, and I told them for about a year and a half, and they're like, "Oh, you're still not monetized?" And sure, I've skipped a few months in this process, and maybe
Exactly.
I would have already been monetized, but I'm like, no, it takes a lot of time. And somebody asked me, why don't they just pay you since the first video? And they don't understand that the whole process behind them paying you. It's this becomes a business. They can't just pay everybody who posts a video and goes a little
Exactly.
big and then they quit. They need to see consistency. They need to see that you're serious about it, and you are. So
Yeah. Thank
congratulations
you.
on
Thank
that.
you. Yeah, because it's not just the amount of subscribers, it's also the watch hours. So you need people actually clicking your video. I think it's like
4,000.
4,000 watch hours at the last calendar year. So exactly, you got to stay consistent. If you reach that, but you don't keep pumping out videos to keep those watch hours up, then they'll kick you back down. So it's definitely challenging. Now I got the new baby. I have a full-time job, a life outside of YouTube. So it's hard when you're first starting out. And that's why I wanted to have you on. I feel like a lot of these smaller channels, they're very enthusiastic because they want to be here because they're trying so hard to grind it out, to pump out these videos, especially when we don't have the unlimited funds to have all the fancy macro shots, all the fancy watches close up. I've been lucky enough to get my hands on some pretty cool watches on the channel. Early on when I was in Arizona, actually, I made some good connections. I filmed with like the Ulysse Nardin Freak, which was one of my Grail watches at the time. It probably still is. I think it's a $60,000 watch.
Yeah.
And it was, crazy. Then I moved to Alaska where dealerships are kind of spread thin. So I think I made another connection out here. But you really got to want it when you're a small time YouTuber. And I know that you just had hands on with one of your Grail watches. Someone was nice enough, one of your viewers, who you only knew for about a day, lend you the VC Overseas, the blue dial, the one everyone wants. And
Yeah.
that was one of your Grail watches. I think it's probably, everyone on YouTube, that's probably maybe 75% of the Grail watches, or it's definitely in the conversation. It's such a popular watch. So let me know what that experience was like, getting your hands on one of those watches you probably never thought you would see in person, and definitely not on your wrist, for a couple of days.
The funniest part about that whole experience is that so we went to a Red Bar meeting, right? For anybody that doesn't know, Red
Yeah.
Bar, or if they don't have it in their city, is basically a watch enthusiasts getting together at a bar, restaurant, or whatever, any place, and they just show their watches, talk about watches, and the interesting stories behind them. Now, this one time I went with my brother, but he came from a very long drive and he was a little tired. But I said, hey, let's go together. You're going to like it. We went there. We spent about an hour, saw a lot of other watches, some
Hmm.
Panerai, Rolexes, but nothing like, would blow your mind. Just
Right.
really nice, luxurious watches. And my brother said, you know what? I think it's time to go. We've been here for about an hour and a half and, I'm tired and I need to sleep. So I said, okay, you know what? We'll say goodbye to the guys. Now, the guy that organizes all of these meetings and finds the places and time and all that for us to go said, hey, have you guys met these two guys over here? One of them is Mr. So and so and so and so. And I said, no, I haven't, but we're thinking to go. He's like, no, he has a great watch. You need to see it. And
Yeah.
my brother's like, you know what? You talk a lot. You go see it. I'm not gonna wait for you. I'm just gonna drive home. And I go sit down with these guys, and one of them has a nice Zenith, and the other guy has a Vacheron Constantin on his wrist. It was some dressy Vacheron that I've never seen before, but I
Yeah.
wasn't really pumped about it because I'm not that big into dress watches and open or skeletonized or open case back, things like that. That's not my thing.
Yeah.
But because somehow I was thinking, because they have access to those watches, the conversations with them must be great. So I sat down and we started talking, cars and watches. That's exactly what they're into, and they have a lot of money and blah blah blah. Conversation was great, and I've asked him what other watches he has, and he said he has a couple overseas, a couple this and a couple that, Pateks, and
Yeah.
I said I love the overseas, and yeah, then he went well, I told him also in the conversation that I have a YouTube channel. So we've talked for about 2 hours about watches and life
Right.
and great things. And he said, you know what, if you want we can meet up tomorrow. I'll give you my overseas to review. And I was shocked, and I'm like, what do you mean, like that's like you're giving it to me?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need a few days to film it, And he said that that doesn't matter to me. 2 3 days, if that's enough for you, then I'm more than happy.
Yeah.
And I still could not believe. I went home, and then we exchanged information. So I texted him and exactly where to meet and what time and all that to collaborate, for a
Yeah.
time. But I was thinking and expecting for him somehow to cancel on me anytime.
Right. Of
And
course.
he's like, "No, yeah, we'll meet there in the parking lot, blah blah blah." And the next day, I follow up, and I'm like, "Hey, we're still good." And he's like, "Yeah, for sure." And I had a feeling that it's not gonna happen.
Right. Right.
Somehow that was the feeling. And we met. He brought it up. He's like, "Hey, here's the watch," and I grabbed it, and yeah, it was it was a beautiful thing. It was an
Oh
absolutely
yeah.
phenomenal watch. And it was kind of afternoon, and where the sun was almost going down, and it was beautiful red-ish orangey sky. And the watch had a very dark blue dial, but it depends how you look at it, and it depends what light. It can be black, it can be
Yep.
dark blue, it can be like a royal shiny blue. It just plays on you. And I said to him, I was like, "You sure I can go home with it?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, yeah, for sure. Like I think I trust you. From the conversation we had yesterday, I think I
Yeah.
trust you." And I had my Tudor Royale on my wrist, and I was like, "Here, you take this. It's not much for damage deposit or anything, but."
Oh, I know.
And he grabbed it,
Yeah.
and yeah, so he took my watch at 2,500, and I took his for 60K.
Yeah.
Great deal for me,
Yeah.
bad for him. But I
Yeah.
went home, and I filmed the watch, and I've enjoyed the watch. I've had it on my wrist every single day, and um, coming home with that watch was the right thing to happen. It just felt like this watch should be mine, but it's not. And I
Yeah.
came home and started filming it, different angles, had it on my wrist, posted it on my story on Instagram, and it was great to know. Thinking of the watch specific, there's nothing about the watch. It's a stainless steel, blue dial, date, and that's it. It does
Right.
nothing.
Simple.
But to know, because you tap into the brand and you think of the brand and what Vacheron Constantin is, and maybe in the car industry is not so much about the brands. You get a BMW and you have a lot of problems and it's stupid. And if people tell you, oh, you bought it just because of the brand, then that was a stupid idea.
Yeah.
In the watch world, like I wouldn't say reliability is a thing that you look at. Oh, will this watch break down or not? Blah blah blah. You buy
Right.
it to enjoy. You buy into the brand. You buy
Hmm.
into the history of the brand. You buy into the importance that the brand had in the watch industry and the
Yeah.
watchmaking. And so the
Great
brand is
passion.
extremely important, not just for the looks or to be fancy or to show off.
Yeah.
So I remember that I was low on gas and I took the watch and then I went to gas station and I didn't want to just like hide it. I wanted it on my wrist, but I remember I covered it with my sleeve,
Oh
and
yeah.
as the gas was pumping, I was just looking at it and I was like, "You're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen."
I know. That's
And that was
amazing.
my story with it. It was very sad to give it back to him, but I've asked him. I said, "Why did you trust me?" When I gave him the watch back, I was like, "How did you trust me?" Like to this
Yeah.
day, I don't get it. And he said, I feel like I would be really grateful if I was you, your age, have a channel, and somebody would, be kind enough to give me the product so I can, review and basically grow my audience.
Yeah.
And so for
That's
that reason, I
amazing.
just felt like it's the right thing to do to help you. And obviously, since he gave it back to me, I think I can trust it with other watches too. So I'm
Yeah.
super excited for more coming from him. But yeah, that was the experience with the Vacheron Constantin overseas.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. That's so cool that he trusted you with that. And of course, you are really grateful. I'm grateful anytime someone lets me film. I do have a couple viewers that have asked me if they can send me something to review, which I'm going to do. I just haven't done it yet because I've been so busy. I've only reviewed, I don't even know if I've reviewed half of my own collection. It's like I still got a lot of stuff I want to do. I'm like, let me do my own collection, and then I'll start kind of reviewing some of your other collections and stuff. But someone asked, let's see here, for both of you, do you have a watch you regret buying? Um, no, I don't think I do. I haven't sold any of my watches. I don't think I've regretted buying anything. I'm pretty happy with how my collection looks right now. But yeah,
Oh,
I think maybe it's just I wish I think I have started to do it now. So it's not something I wish, but early on, if you're collecting, I think maybe save your money up a little bit to kind of jump into a tier you really want to be in. I think a lot of people get discouraged when they're saving up, so they don't really go maybe past that $1,000 price point. And you don't have to for a great watch. I mean, there's some Timexes I like for $40, $50, and I
yeah,
like watches of all uh, prices. One of my favorite watches is my Seiko Alpinist because I just have so many memories attached to that watch, and it's a lot cheaper than my Omega. It's a lot cheaper than my Rolex, but if I had to only keep one watch, it would be my Alpinist. I got married in that watch. It's in like half the pictures I've ever taken. So like I just have so much sentimental attachment to that watch. So a watch doesn't have to be expensive, but get what you want in this hobby. I don't think you should kind of settle for substitutions. Like your heart was set on that Tudor Royale. You knew it was something you wanted. I don't think it was a true substitution because the Nautilus is so astronomically high, the price of a house or a condo. So it's still a great brand, but maybe you wouldn't have been as happy with like a Tissot PRX when that is still a great band, but the name cachet of a Tudor and the history and of a Tissot, it is just different. And someone got a comment right here. They said, "Tell him you can trust me with some of them watches." So yeah, he can trust me too. Tell him to stop passing them around. But
let me tell you one quick thing. So the gentleman that gave me the Tudor and the other watch that he gave
yeah,
me, where is it? It's right here. Actually, I didn't show
nice.
it yet. Is the no date Submariner.
How do you beat
Um,
that right there?
So I've met this gentleman before I met the gentleman with the overseas,
Yeah,
and we talked, and he obviously found out what I told him. I have a YouTube channel, and and like I'm looking to borrow watches from people, and he said, you know what, um, I will give you some of my watches because I have many, but it will definitely not be my Rolexes. I cannot trust anybody with my Rolexes,
Yeah,
and and I'm like, you know what? I don't ask for anything. I will
exactly.
ask me with whatever you can trust me, right?
Exactly.
If you want, we can go up. And he said, exactly. I'll give you, some $1,000 watch if you want. You can choose from what I have, and then if you return it back, well, I'll give you something more expensive, more expensive. We can work up to the Rolexes, but
Of
definitely
course.
not now. So he did give me a watch, and then he gave me a Doxa,
Well,
great,
Dox is a
great,
great brand. Which
great
Doxa
one.
was it?
It was the uh, orange dial,
Yeah,
the sub 300T.
the Sub 300T. Yeah,
Yes,
that might be my next watch, dude. That's a good looking watch. I like
it is
the history
phenomenal.
of it, and just the look is so unique.
Oh no, he gave me the not the orange. He gave me the yellow. He has both,
Yeah.
and he asked which one, and I don't know. I asked for yellow, so I have pictures on my Instagram of it. But
Oh, cool.
the story goes that he did not want to trust me with the Rolex, which was absolutely fine, right? Like I
Yeah.
understand, and like I feel uncomfortable to ask people for their watches to
Of
review.
course. Of
But if
course.
somebody trusts me with anything that I feel like it's in accordance with my channel and all that, then I take it. So I go home and I send him a picture of the overseas. And he said, "No freaking way. How, like, where did you get it from?" And I said, "Oh, and he actually missed that day, the red bar meeting with the
Yeah.
watch. He missed that. He didn't show up." And I said, "Oh, actually, from yesterday, one of the gentlemen gave it to me and for 3 days to review it." He said, "Just like that? He gave it to you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he gave it to me." And he said, "You know what? Now I trust it with my Rolex." He said it himself. And I was like,
Oh, that's too
that's
funny.
phenomenal. That's phenomenal. So I
Yeah.
gave the overseas back, and now I texted him. I was like, "Hey, can I have it?" He said, "Absolutely. Just come by my house. Yeah, I'll give it to you." So when you get your hands onto something that expensive and you take well
Yeah.
care of it and all that, anything underneath it, I guess, price wise, it's already. I mean, these are great still, but like the fact that he trusted me with it just says a lot. So
No, that's
if
awesome,
anybody,
man.
if
They're true
anybody
friends. You've made a couple like true friends, Alaska, there's definitely a watch community up here because someone's buying all the Rolexes from the AD and it ain't me. So someone likes watches up here. But I don't think we have any type of watch meetups like that. I would absolutely love to go to some watch meetups and talk to some of you guys in person. That's why I like chatting with you. I like chatting with all my viewers. My wife gets extremely annoyed. She'll ask me like a question about cleaning the house or like what we're gonna do, and I'll respond. I'll be like, "Yeah, Breitling just released this new Super Ocean, but it looks like the old one. They discontinued." And she'll be like, "What the hell are you even talking about?" Because she has no bearings at all. She doesn't know anything about watches, and I'll spit stuff at her like if she's you or she's one of the viewers, and it's funny half the time it's not prompted, like it just that's what's on my mind. So it's
Yep.
good to have an outlet. That's part of why I wanted to create a channel, was to have an outlet to talk to some other people about watches, so I can stop talking to them about her.
No,
So
I
I
get.
would absolutely love to go to some in person like that. That's so cool.
I have the same experience at home. Well, luckily for me, I have my brother here that is also into watches, and I have
Yeah,
friends, and then we have the meeting that we do every last Wednesday or Thursday of the month. So
cool.
once a month we go there, and then I have some friends that work at ADs. So I do have people to talk to, but at home, if I just find a watch and I go show my wife, and she's just like, I told her, "Hey, you should watch this live stream," and she said, "Oh, I will," and I said, "For 5 minutes, and you're probably gonna leave," and she's like, "I think so." So
Yeah,
she's not. She loves watches, but she doesn't love to talk of them. So
right.
yeah,
That's
that's
too funny.
great.
Someone said Seattle, so I guess they have some watch meetups in Seattle. Seattle is more populous than Anchorage, where I'm at. But yeah, that's something to think about. Maybe if I'm there for another reason, it's only like an hour and a half plane ride. It's not bad at all. Most weekends I drive further than that to go hiking. So,
Yeah,
and I know you just had a pretty big road trip, didn't you?
I did. I drove to
Yeah.
Toronto,
Oh
36
yeah,
hours.
36 hours.
Well, 36 hours is if you don't stop.
Oh man, dude.
Yeah, and then we only stopped about 9 hours from Toronto. It was
Yeah,
evening again, and we were like, do we drive and arrive there in the morning and then we're completely dead and sleep all day, or we just stop
yeah,
and sleep and then we arrive there afternoon, but we're rested. So that's what we did. We slept and um, half. So from Calgary to about 20 hours. So about 15, 16 hours from
yeah.
here. Nothing much going on if you go east.
Right.
You go through a couple pretty boring provinces, and as soon as you hit Ontario, it's beautiful again. So it
Yeah,
almost feels like Saskatchewan and Manitoba. These two provinces are they don't belong here. That's how it seems, because Ontario is a beautiful province, and then Alberta
yeah,
is phenomenal, and BC is just gorgeous. So those
yeah.
two provinces are pretty flat and not much going on. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool because I know I'm always out and about hiking, and I've seen a couple of pictures. If you guys aren't following Roman, his Instagram is this. I believe it's the same as his name, just Roman
yeah,
Moruz. Same thing on YouTube. So check him out, guys. I think I want all my subscribers to check out your channel. I want all your subscribers to check out my channel. The
absolutely.
only way us little guys are gonna, make a dent in this watch community is if
Make
we
it dent.
all work together, man. We all work together. There's plenty of room for everybody to grow in this community because what we really need is those subscriber counts going up, and it's so easy to do. I know. I think a lot of the time the viewers don't realize like how much it matters, and I'm guilty of this as well. Before I started my own channel, I'd watch, Bruce Williams, Jory the Time Teller, who I just collaborated with. It has nothing to do with watches, funny enough. But I did some with him. I'm going to be over on his podcast soon. I'd watch, Teddy Baldassar is another one I'd watch. Watchbox, of course, but I didn't subscribe to no one. I don't even think I thumbed up the videos. I didn't comment because I didn't even realize it actually
The
made a
importance.
difference. It's such a big difference. So if people can just hit those buttons, it really is just like such a game changer. And I know it just pumps me up. It probably pumps you up and motivates you to to keep
Absolutely.
going.
Absolutely. And the comments is a great way to see appreciation. Even if it's somebody takes time and disagrees with you on anything, or
Yep.
sometimes you get negative comments, but like in general, you feel like even the negative ones are great because that means he watched it.
Exactly.
People that watch it, first of all,
Exactly.
gives you views, gives you time, and
Yeah.
those are great things. But just this whole interaction, because I remember when I started, I had 10 subscribers, and they were all family and friends,
Yeah.
and I filmed probably like 5 times, and nothing was good, and I just leaned back on the chair, and I was thinking, because I always say like, "Hey, what's up? What's going on, everybody?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Who the hell am I talking to?" My camera is literally on a tripod in the corner of a room, and
I
I'm
know.
looking at it, I'm like, "Who am I talking about?" Anybody walking behind my door,
Yeah.
behind the room that I am, my family or whatever, they must think like they don't think I'm stupid, but it's just the way it sounds like, who the hell are you talking to? And then a
Yeah.
while after, people starting engaging more and more, and subscriber count goes up, and especially the comments. It's like, oh my God, I'm actually talking to people, not just some weird ass numbers. So
Exactly. Exactly.
when people comment, it's a great
I
thing.
know I've had a couple videos where like people will say, "Oh, thank you so much. This is what made me go buy this watch." And then I'll tell them, "Hey, follow through." They'll comment back in a month, 3 months. I'm still wearing that watch. Thanks so much for this video. This is like my most expensive watch. I had someone yesterday. They bought the same Omega Seamaster as me, the gray dial, and they love it. It was a lot of money for them. They bought at gray market the same way I did, and they were kind of scared. So I told them my experience with gray market, and they ended up buying it, and they're super happy. So I absolutely love hearing stories like that.
Yeah.
I just found a cool watch, man. I don't know if you've seen this. I gotta get it on a new strap because it's on this funky.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
where's the
No, the
camera?
other way.
This funky vintage metal strap. But I found this at a estate sale
Yeah.
for $5. It's a annual calendar that's in running condition. And this thing is crazy. But I was talking to someone else about vintage watches. They shared some pictures of their father, who's a pilot, and then he passed down his GMT watch to him. So that was such a cool, like to hear that story. And he has another watch that I believe was his grandfather's or his great grandfather's. He wore it in World War II. His plane was shot down. The watch survived. His uncle or great uncle, who was in the war, started wearing the war after that for the rest of the war, made it through the war, then passed it on to him. So it's like, dude, your great grandfather literally got shot down in a plane with this watch on, and he's restoring it now. So it's like just the kind of stories you hear off of people. And someone asked a good question right here. And thank you guys, Ashton. I appreciate you guys. A, for watching, B, for throwing in some comments. So he said, if you could only choose one watch for your rest of your life, what would you pick? This is a hard one for me. I have two watches I love. Like I said, I got married in my Seiko Alpinist, but you guys know how hard I worked to get my Rolex OP41. And I had that watch on when my daughter was born 3 weeks ago. So I got married in this one, but my daughter was born in my Rolex OP. So that's hard, man. I might have to flip a coin between, the Seiko, so many memories with this, and the Rolex OP. But
I would say
I love the OP. What
if
about you, Roman? What about you?
if we're talking about the watches that we own,
Yeah,
I think I would go with the Hydroconquest. As
such
much
a
as
good watch. It looks sick
I
on that
have it
strap
on
too.
a red strap,
Yeah,
but I love how well it combines with the black dial and then the red
the red
little
second hand.
tip in the second hand. It just the camera doesn't show it perfectly, but in real life, the watch is just so much more beautiful. And the reason I choose this watch over my Tudor is because it's either up here that I think that my Tudor is just more elegant than this,
Yeah.
or maybe it actually is. This guy has 200 meters of water resistance. I've had it and I've banged it and I've worn it and I've scratched it, and somehow this just screams durability.
Oh yeah.
And that's like, if I could pick one from what I own, it would definitely be this. If I would have to pick one that I don't own, I could just have it like this, it would still probably be the Nautilus 5711.
Of course. Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah. I mean, if it was just the one that I own, like I said, it would have to be the Seiko or the OP. I mean, the OP is such a versatile watch. Like people say, oh, the Submariner is the best one watch you can have. And I agree. I mean, that known date Submariner is such a slick looking watch, but it does look a little bit more on the sportier side, of course. Yeah, hold up that Rolex again real quick. And I'm gonna hold up mine because I want to talk about them a little bit. So between that and the OP, I think the OP is a little bit more versatile. We were talking about bezels earlier. It has the smooth bezel compared to obviously the dive bezel. Both are time only, which I like. It just looks really clean. The Oyster bracelet, as you know, because you've had that on wrist, is the
Yep.
most comfortable bracelet in the entire earth, dude.
Do you have
Difference about
does your bracelet have a quick adjustment as well?
it. Does, yeah. It has like that easy
Amazing.
link adjustment, which I use all the time. I mean, if you want a versatile watch, you can wear this swimming. I'm not diving past, 100 feet. I'm just going to be splashing around in the ocean. But so you can wear this, go swimming, wear it when I'm out and about, go to a formal occasion with this, and you never have to change your watch. I think this is one of the most versatile watches out there. So this might be my pick, regardless if I own it or not. I just think it's such a versatile watch. It is a Rolex, and I like this more even than some more expensive Rolexes and stuff. Like I am looking to get more Rolexes, but this watch was up at $23,000 at one point. I could have
Yeah.
sold this and I could have bought like a Vacheron Constantin what was the watch I was looking at? It's not the 56. They make another really cool watch where it has like a big the date wheel in it. It's pretty cool looking, and it's versatile. I could have sold this and literally got like a Vacheron,
You could have
but
sold, but
I
read
don't
more.
like flipping watches, but I didn't want to. Like, I literally like this watch more. I wouldn't sell it. Like I said, it already has that sentimental attachment to me. So even if this went up with the Tiffany, you know, 40, $50,000, I don't think I could sell it. It's that versatile, and I probably wouldn't ever get another one. And I wore it, you know, when my daughter was was born. We got a couple of questions. I just want to get to these questions real quick.
Right.
Uh, Somebody asked, "What do you guys think of Grail watches?" I think it's a good thing that you always need something to inspire to in this hobby, and then we're all a little crazy because once we get something we want, like I would have considered my Omega Seamaster. My most expensive watch was my Longines. The Omega Seamaster, I paid like $4,000 for, so it was basically 4 times the price of my Longines. Then I got that. I wanted the Rolex. It's like now I'm looking at other watches, even though I would never get rid of the Rolex. So it's like you always need something to inspire to in this hobby, and I think it keeps things interesting. What about you, Roman? You had
I,
your hands on your
I think Grail watches are great because they keep you, like you said, and you need to be inspired. You know, and not only in this niche that we have, the watches, in everything, right? Something that somehow is almost unattainable is great because, for example, for me, I got the chance to get my Tudor, and I've
yeah,
understood, like I've gotten inspired by those. I said, hey, if I can't wait, I didn't just shut my dream down that hey, I cannot own a Nautilus and that's it, boom. And I've been looking for other options, and it's because of that. I still have the Grail watches in my head, of course, and somehow they change. You know, sometimes you like these watches, sometimes you like these watches. For a long time, I did not like the Royal Oak or the
yeah.
Marpiguet. I do now. It's also one of my Grail watches, but what do we think of them? I think it's great to have them, even if somehow they feel like unattainable. You never know what happens, and you never know how your life can
You
change.
never
And
know. Yeah,
you never know. Kevin O'Leary said he's waited 10 years to get his hands on the Nautilus 5711. So sure, he has money and all that. I'm sure he could have gotten it faster, but he wanted like retail directly from Patek. He didn't want
exactly.
any. Uh, so yeah, even guys like him have Grail watches.
That's insane. That's insane. Mr. Wonderful himself, Kevin O'Leary's waiting 10 years for some of these watches, and that's why they go so expensive. Because if they don't have the connections, I mean, who does? And I think I got lucky with my AD. I literally think it's like a wait list. They take your name down and they do go, you know, A, B, C, D, E down the list.
Have you heard of the He Spoke Style YouTube channel?
I don't know if I've heard of that one.
So this gentleman talks about everything men lifestyle, mainly
Yeah,
dressing up well and things like that. So obviously he talks about his collection too, his watch collection, and he had before the Nautilus 5711, and he said the like how he got to own it. He the way like where the city that he moved, where the new address that he moved at was literally across from Patek Philippe Boutique. He
oh
went
wow,
there, and that was about 4 years ago or so, but he went there, so they were still in production. He went there and said he wants the Nautilus 5711. They laughed at him. They said it's at least 6 years of wait time.
right.
And he said, hey, sure, but just so you guys know, I live across the street. I'm not here to flip it or anything. And they said, oh, yeah, sure, but um, if you want, you can put your name on the list. A couple weeks went by. He swung by the store and he was like, hey, I was just checking in about the watch. And they laughed at him and they said, absolutely not. And he said, hey, if anything, I live across the street. I'm not looking to flip it. I
Yeah,
know a lot of people do things like that, but I'm serious about the watch. A month went by, 2 months, and he would like regularly check on them. Three
yeah,
months after, since the first time that he went in the store,
yeah.
put his name on the list. 3 months after, they called and said, hey, Brian, we have a watch for you if you want to come down. So this guy, it took him only three months to get it. He showed
Wow.
consistency and stuff like that. So you don't necessarily need to be Mr. Wonderful. Sure, he waited 10 years. Doesn't mean you're gonna have to wait 10 years.
Right.
Now, it's difficult now if we're talking about Nautilus 5711. But if your Grail watch seems like unattainable for you because it's too expensive or not really available, like don't give up. It will.
Don't give up. Yeah, don't
It's
give up.
worth hard to save
That's a
money,
good
and
story.
one day.
In my video where I talk about my experience, I go, you can't beat the wait list unless you try. And I think a lot of people, just to get discouraged, they don't try. Put your name down. I waited a year and a half, so I could have complained for a year and a half that I'm not getting this watch. But then you eventually get the call and you don't remember all the time you waited.
A year
You
and a half
have
passes
that
by
watch.
regardless.
Yeah, you just the time's gonna pass, so you might as well put your name on that list. I checked in every month, and I didn't have to go in person. I literally sent funny little emails like, "Hey, it's your patient Rolex's friend Brandon. What are you doing?" Like, I sent her a picture like what I have for lunch, dude. Like, I just like do funny stuff. I'm like, "Yo, this pizza's good, but it would taste better if there's a Rolex on my wrist." Like, just like funny stuff, like because you don't have, like, I just trying to be memorable. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to be
Exactly.
memorable. So if you guys are curious, watch my video. I literally go through every word for word interaction I had. I pull up some of the emails and stuff that I had with the lady at the dealer, and I actually just sent her pictures of my baby with me and my Rolex on. I'm go, thanks again for this watch. You gave it to me about a year ago. Said thanks again. I have this watch on. I still got it. Well, my baby was born, so I wore it, for a special occasion. So just to show it, like, I'm genuine person, and I really do like respect these watches. Someone said right here, talking about vintage, they work with a 90s Omega Manson Fondi 1848. So I probably first off butchered the way you say that because we're talking about our accents, but I wasn't familiar with that watch. So let me attempt to screen share. I did just pull this watch up I saw one on sale for eBay. So I'm going to try to pull this up. Let's see. And you let me know, Roman. I'm going to try to screen share this. Can you see my screen?
Nope.
Hold on one second. Hold on one second. All right. Entire screen. Window. Let me just see here. Like I told you guys, I'm getting a little bit used to the streaming. Hold on. I think I got this. Where'd it go? All right. 1 second. So that was a Omega Mason 1848. All right, I think I gotta hit this button here. Share audio. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
All right, cool. You see this Omega?
Yeah.
Yep. So this is what he has right here. I don't know if it's the same dial and the same bezel, but I like this.
This thing is gorgeous, and I like how it looks on
This
bracelet.
is nice. That's a cool looking watch. This one is especially clean looking for a vintage watch, but I really like having went into vintage. I think it's a whole nother area that I was kind of scared to get into. I don't know a lot about. And for $5, I mean, for a annual calendar, I think I had to jump in. And how big is this watch? Let me take a look. 35 millimeters. So my watch I've been wearing is literally only 32 millimeters, but because it's vintage, like, it looks the part. It doesn't look too small at all. And I'm a bigger dude. I walk around like 220. I'm almost 6 feet. And I'm wearing a 32 millimeter vintage watch. It actually looks pretty good on wrist. So if you go vintage, like don't be scared of the size. I know some people are scared of the smaller sizes, but if I can wear a 32 millimeter watch, you guys could definitely wear, a 34 or 35 or something like that. Because this is a cool watch, and I'm sure this viewer has a lot of experiences built into this watch, all those memories, and that's really what I think this game is about, man. You have to wear your watches. We have the term safe queen now, and people get watches just to, put in a safe and not really watch because they want to own it. Or I've heard people like, yeah, I bought the watch and still got the stickers on it in box. I haven't even touched it. I just like owning it. And I mean, maybe, I guess there's collectors of baseball cards, everything that don't touch it. And I can kind of see that. But watches are literally meant to be put on your wrist and enjoyed. And like you said with the VC, you were outside a certain time of day, the sunlight hit the dial just right. So you had the whole picture of the sky, the watch on wrist, the red sky reflecting on the blue dial. You're not going to get that keeping your watches, in your safe.
Absolutely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's somebody said yeah, about cars for the people who, like get very anxious and hate the fact that they put kilometers in their car. And it's like, why you baby it for the next guy?
Yeah, I know. You're only gonna be here for so much time. It's like you want to enjoy it because stuff goes by. I mean, time goes by so quick, and then you just have all this time, all these memories that pass without wearing your watch. It's like just wear it, and they're meant to get worn. Like you're not going to destroy them. And if you're scared of the financial aspect of it, I mean, a lot of these watches used, you really don't knock off too much money by just wearing the watch. You can always refinish it once, repolish it once. It's not going to hurt it at all. Some people don't want to repolish watches, but if you just do it, once or twice, it's not going to hurt. So if you ever had to sell it, but I think we've had some good conversation so far. Some other stuff I want to talk about. I kind of want to. You own a Tudor. You were borrowing a Tudor. What's your thoughts on that new Tudor Ranger?
The thoughts on the new Tudor Ranger, they were pretty mixed up at the beginning, but I think I really like it now. I think it's very, very different than it doesn't scream Tudor.
Mm-hmm.
The bracelet, the case almost looks like an explorer case and
Yeah.
bracelet. I love the tapering of the bracelet. That is one thing that I'm a big lover for. A good tapering. That is
Oh,
what it
definitely.
also has, right? Your watch as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's extremely different. I've heard that it has an in-house movement,
Mm-hmm.
which kind of is reflected in the price.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that these are my thoughts. I really like it. And I went to my AD and asked if they have it, and obviously no. Like now there's a wait list on the Tudor,
Crazy.
which is
Crazy.
kind of crazy. Like I've waited for mine for 1 year for my
Oh
Tudor.
man, that's wild.
Yeah, and then if you know the Tudor chronograph, like the Panda,
Yeah.
the new ones as well. We have a couple of guys here at Red Bar. They've put their name down at every dealer here in the city that carries Tudor, and they all tell them like 3-4 years. One of them opened the
That's insane.
catalog and they showed them look
Yeah.
pages and pages of people wanting them, and it's a Tudor. It's not a Rolex. It's three
Yeah.
years.
That's crazy, dude. And I know the Black Bay Pro, the one that looks like the Explorer too. I like that watch a lot as well. That I know people aren't getting. I know there's wait lists for that as well. So
Yeah.
wait
So
list with
Tudor Ranger,
Rolex.
I
One
think
thing
is a
on the
success.
Tudor.
Tudor
Yeah,
Ranger, I think is a success. I really like how it looks. I think it's
yeah,
beautiful.
I do too. I like the price too. It's supposed to be like that entry level, but it's still really nice, versatile watch. I hate the term entry level. It's still a really expensive watch for a lot of people. But
Absolutely, yeah.
entry level for Tudor, but I just hope they put up enough volume that people can actually get it. And a wait list, 3-4 months ain't the end of the world, but 5 years for a Tudor, that's crazy. And
Yeah.
then Duncan just said, yeah, we nailed it. 18 karat gold bezel. 200. He got it for $200. That one on eBay was 2,000. I didn't even check if it had box and papers, but $200, no box and papers. You don't wear the box and papers on your wrist. I'm not, crazy about box and papers. I've never sold any of the watches I have, so that's a really good deal right here that he got. Vintage is cool, man. I'm like addicted now, I think, to estate sales. I want to go to some more and see what I can find. Because if this is, and I threw it on wrist so you can see, it's small, but honestly, 32 millimeters. I feel like it ain't that small. It looks vintage, so it doesn't look like a modern 32 millimeter watch. And I am going to put this on a leather strap, but I want to see what else I can find for vintage. Have you ever considered going vintage?
I have a watch. Let me show you 1 second.
Yeah, let me see this.
This one is, well, I don't know. I honestly don't know what year it is from.
Yeah.
But I have a picture on my Instagram. This one is old.
Oh,
It's the
wow.
Vostok. It's a Russian watch.
Yeah.
Very nice bezel engraved with engravings and stuff like that. This is kind of like my only vintage watch.
Yeah.
It's 40 millimeters. It's gorgeous. I really like it. It needs service. The rotor, the one that spins, it's undone now, so it kind of makes a little noise. So I need to take it in and fix it. But it was given to me by my, how do I say it? A relative of my wife, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had it for over 20 years, worn it just a few times. Um, he gave it to me when I was in Europe. He said, "Hey, you can wear it for the time being here if you want it." And
Yeah.
then when I left, I was like, "You know what? I'll take it because I will wear it more often than you." And he said, "You know what? Fair enough, and you can take it." So I worn it for a good time, and then it started making this little noise, and then I opened it and I saw that the rotor is loose. But yeah, so I need to take it and fix it. What's
Yeah.
my take on vintage watches? I really like them. I think you can find some really outdated yellow, washed out dials, and those are the absolute most beautiful. I
Oh,
think those are
yeah.
phenomenal. Those are great. But you don't know the story behind them, but you just look and you can already start thinking and making up stories in your mind. Like, how did he
Right.
buy it? Where did he get it from? Like this watch must have been through a lot, and especially if it has a lot of scratches. And then if the numbers are also, washed out and like rough looking,
Yeah.
that thing is old. And if it's in
Oh,
running
yeah.
condition, phenomenal.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Like you said, I don't know the story of this watch, but the guy's house was actually really funny. There was like samurai and Buddha stuff all over the house, like everywhere. I'm talking some of these pictures, like of geishas and stuff. He must have been a Japanese guy. But the house, it looked like from the 70s or 80s, and it hasn't been updated. The rugs were this thick all over the house, red rugs, dude, this thick. It was like the most hilarious house to to like go to your first estate sale. So I'm already thinking about the crazy like guy that must have owned this watch and like all the stories connected to it and stuff. And even though I don't personally know the stories, I think when you put on a vintage watch, you can feel, that soul of the watch already.
Now, the cool thing about these old watches is they get passed down a lot, right? From
Mhm.
grandparents to kids or grandkids. And the cool thing about them is that a lot of the kids, they don't know the worth of the watch. They don't know the value, the history,
Right.
anything of the watch. They don't know the importance of that watch. And then, to make a quick buck, they just go and sell them. And that's, I'm assuming, how this gentleman got it for $200.
Yeah.
But a great example, if you know Graham Stephan on YouTube, he talks about finances. He's had a very big audience, 3-4 million subscribers or
Yeah.
something like that. He always wears in his video a Zenith El Primero,
Hmm.
and he's this frugal guy, doesn't spend money on coffee. Like
Yeah.
he lives very, very minimalistic or whatever. He saves as much, like 99% of his income. That's like his goal, to save
Right.
as much as he can. But he has a Zenith El Primero, and I'm like, that's not a cheap watch.
No, no.
And then great that one time he actually said the story of the watch, and he said that his grandpa passed away, and he wasn't very close to him, or he didn't really visit his grandpa a lot. Like, but it happened that one day he was driving, he was in the area, and his mom and his aunt, they were cleaning up the house after his grandpa passed away,
Yeah.
and he swung by. He said, I'll stop and talk to them. And there was a big container, like garbage container, and on the front yard, and that's where they were throwing a lot of the things. And the container was full, and now they started like putting bags by the garbage container. And he saw a box with all of those garbage bags, and
Yeah.
he asked, like, what's in the box? And the box is very nice. And they said, I think it's like one of his watches or whatever. And he takes the box, opens it up, and it's the Senetal Primero. Now, this guy knows nothing about watches,
Right.
and he takes it in because he liked how it looked. He's not into watches or anything, but it happened that he liked how this one looked, and he took it to a guy to service it because it wasn't working. And this guy
Yeah.
told him, "You know how expensive this watch is?" And apparently, if I'm not mistaken, it was a limited edition watch. So he serviced it, and then he went and asked his mom, like, where, like, does grandpa have such a watch? And she said, oh yeah, he used to work for Zenith back in the like 50s or
Oh,
60s,
cool. Yeah.
or whatever. And yeah, this was one of the watches he got like as a gift, but he never worn it either.
Yeah.
So this is a story of a guy who talks about finances on YouTube, real estate, knows nothing about watches, not interested in watches, almost threw away a watch
That's
in the
crazy.
garbage that it happened to be a Zenith El Primero from that era. And now, I think 3 years ago, they had a hundred and whatever anniversary they did
Yeah.
for the El Primero again, and they released I think only 150 watches.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly. So he says it in the video, and he went ahead and bought the new limited edition that was
Oh,
like a
cool.
celebration, memoration, whatever, of the previous one that his grandpa had. So that
Oh,
was
that's
such a cool
awesome.
story, and like
Yeah.
they happen, uh, like it almost felt like an accident because he said he never really went to his grandpa's house, like, and especially after he passed away, it just happened that he was in the
Yeah.
area, and his mom was there, and it also happened that they didn't throw it in the garbage. It happened that
Thank
when
goodness.
they were cleaning the house and they got to the box with the watch, the container was already full, so they set it by the container.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if it was in container, that's it, no
It
more
never
watch.
would have been seen. Yeah, that's such a cool story.
It
Like,
is phenomenal. I think
and
his
now he's
video
a
is
watch person. Yeah.
I think his video is called, my biggest purchase of $20,000, or my $20,000 purchase, or something like that, because
Yeah.
that's how much he spent for the second El
The
Primero.
new
Now that
one.
he got it.
Yeah.
So if anybody, go watch Graham Stephan, big into finance, great guy. But this story was like, gave me goosebumps just hearing it all. It was phenomenal. I
Yeah.
wish my parents and grandparents were into watches.
I know. Hey, well, that's what I'm starting now. I get all my watches. I got my this is my book, man. Hold on. You gotta see this.
That's it.
Where is it? I got this. My daughter's first ABC book right here.
Yeah,
R is for Rolex. So
that's a great book.
yeah, hopefully I'm starting a trend here. I'll be the first one into watches, and then I'll have some great grandkids that are into watches, and they
I,
get
I have a very sad story to tell you.
yeah,
Last summer, no, 2 summers ago, my wife's grandpa passed away, and she said that this guy was always wearing watches. He had watches all the time, maybe some old Soviet watches. I don't
yeah.
know, but he's always had watches. And last year when we went to Europe to see her family, I went and asked her grandma, where is all of his watches? I want to see them. And like, I was waiting for that trip because I was so excited, because I was like, you never know, this guy could have had something crazy that he bought for not crazy money back then,
Yeah.
but now would be. And I go and I ask her, where's all of his watches? And she's like, oh, I don't even remember. And then she asks her daughter, or like my wife's aunt,
Yeah.
hey, where did we put those watches? Grandpa used to wear them. And she's like, oh, we put them in the coffin with him.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like,
Mhm.
what? And they're like,
Oh, that's
no,
wild.
they were his. And, like, it's a tradition to throw some of the things that like basically meant a lot to him or whatever. and I was so sad because I waited. You know, he passed away 2 years ago. We waited a full year, and then we went to see. And like I was super excited, and the closer to the trip, and we were flying, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna see some crazy nice watches, old vintage. Some I bet I can service some and like rock them.
Yeah.
And yeah, nothing.
Oh, dude, that's too funny. That's too funny.
Yeah, that was
They're
bad. And
gone,
every
man.
time I think of it, I'm still sad.
Yeah, he got him with him, dude. That's
Yeah,
like that what they did in Egypt. It's like he wanted to bring him with him to wherever you go on to next. And he wanted to I make jokes. I make jokes to my wife, like, yeah, I'm gonna get buried with my watches, but not really.
yeah,
That's wild. That's wild. That's a funny story, man. We've been going for about an hour and 15 minutes. Well, I think that's a funny story to kind of end it on.
yeah.
That's hilarious
Absolutely,
there. So
absolutely.
thanks so much for everyone that stopped in. It looked like we had a lot of viewers come through in and out. So I appreciate it. Whoever catches this on the replay, I appreciate it.
Thank you for the
Again, you can
questions.
check out Roman on his Instagram, Roman Moruz. Same thing on YouTube. He's a good guy. I keep up with him, and he's just a down to earth guy. At the end of the day, that likes watches just like I do. So make sure you check him out. This was a lot of fun. We'll definitely have to do it again. I'm
Well,
going to start doing live
and
streams. I'm not sure how often. I don't want to say every week, just in case I don't do it. But it's something I'm definitely going to start to do moving forward. And you'll definitely be invited again. We'll stay in touch and we'll get something going again.
absolutely. No, thank you so much for having me. I think it was a lot of fun for me as well. Great hearing some of the stories. Thank you for the questions to everybody who's asked.
Definitely.
And thank you for the engagement. We'll definitely have to do that again.
Sounds good, brother. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.
You take care.